Exec, el Exec. El Vele, el Vele. El fenómeno que todos quieren ser. El chamaquito que no pueden entender.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to episode 154 of the Exec Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Les Wassan. All right. Like, subscribe, hit the comment, hit the comments, hit my socials, do all that good stuff. Keep supporting. I love you guys. God bless you guys. What we're going to talk about today, we're going to predict, well, not much of a prediction. Verstappen's probably winning the championship unless somehow Lando wins the race this Sunday at Las Vegas. Probably maybe a surprise winner, maybe a Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc. Lando should be the favorite to win the race. What happened in Brazil was a lot of circumstance, rain, strategy call, safety car that led to Max winning. So, and being up at the front. So I'm thinking Lando is probably going to put in a better, he's going to go balls to the wall trying to win because there is no way in hell that he's going to just get this close to a championship and then let it go, letting Max finish in front of him, because that's all Max has to do is finish in front of him. That's it. As for this season, man, it's been a season of joyous occasions, Silverstone, for Lewis. I thought, there was some hope for Mercedes somewhere in the season, and then they quickly lost it. The resurgence of Ferrari as an actual power, again, putting up podiums, winning. The destabilization of the power structure of the 4-year run of Red Bull, of just absolute complete dominance. It lasted for 5 races this year, and then it got competitive. And then the rise of McLaren again as a superpower in the sport, something that hadn't happened since, you have to go back to 2008, 2007, when Lewis was a rookie running with Fernando Alonso. That was when McLaren was still McLaren per se, but McLaren, you have to go to the 80s, you have to go to the 90s, you have to go to Alain Prost, you have to go, Ayrton Senna. That's when McLaren was really McLaren. Haas not being the last on the grid, that was nice to see this year. The fall of Alpine, Renault has just fallen off a cliff. When it was Lotus, Renault, Alpine, they've just fallen off a cliff. The French period. Such a rich history in that team, and for them to just literally fall off a cliff, coming from championships in the 70s with Mario Andretti with Lotus, Also, Williams not being able to step up to the plate really concerns me, considering that, they don't manufacture like cars per se, like a Mercedes, like a Ferrari, like an Aston Martin. But, you're talking about a team with so much history. I think the 4th most or 3rd most championships as a team ever. You go back to Nelson Piquet Sr. and, Jos Verstappen, Nico, Rosberg's father, not Nico, KK Rosberg, you go back to Damian Hill, Nigel Mansell, you go back to, the true, champions back in the day, and it was Williams. And it's been so far since that time, and they've been at the bottom for so long that I just hope that they get revived. Hopefully in the 2026, remodeling of the whole sport, they finally find some pace, they find some speed, and they find success. It'd be nice to see Williams and that W back, in the winner's circle, or at least fighting for something. I believe the stake team was a complete failure. just an absolute, just, you know, you bring in the only Chinese driver in the series and Guan Yu and can't give him a car. You take a multi-time race winner in Valtteri Bottas, one of the probably smartest racers out there, and drivers and fast drivers, to be like the guy that literally ran second wing to Lewis for his last like 4 championships at Mercedes, and you know, you don't do anything with it, and now it's going to turn into Audi. And I hope with Audi's support and backbone and financial stability as a company, that they get back, you know, into the good graces of Formula One. Because Sauber used to be like the team that had like those drivers that like wanted to prove themselves, you know, and then they turned into Force India and BMW, and Juan Pablo Montoya was there, and you know, they had some good runs, but you know, it's been downhill for a long time. Another team that had disappointed absolutely is Alfa Romeo. Just, I mean, that is the Sauber team. What am I saying? My bad. Aston Martin, another team that I would love for them to be good. Just for Fernando's sake, even though Fernando, I believe, is going to hang up the boots and the helmet very, very soon. He's over 400 Grand Prix. That's the most Grand Prix in the history of Formula One. 2-time champ, considered one of the greatest of all time. Probably one of the best pure drivers the sport has ever seen, ever since his rookie year. And, you know, he was the last guy to win a championship with Benetton, with the legendary team that brought Michael Schumacher in and so many other legends in. You know, so it's disappointing that they can't find a way to make a car to give Fernando to compete, because I believe he could still compete as a driver. And yeah, you know, Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull, and McLaren is the top of the food chain. And I don't think that's changing anytime soon. Maybe Audi starts figuring it out, but I think that next year is going to be a real transition period. We might see the superpower that is Ferrari come back with Lewis, especially if Adrian Newey goes over there to design that car for next year. And it'd be crazy if Adrian Newey finally pairs up with the greatest driver of all time to then break the record that Michael set at 7 championships, you know, and get that 8th for Lewis. That'd be great. Max is going to be, I think, in a state of flux next year. He's still going to be with Red Bull, I believe. He's still going to have a fast car, but if Adrian Newey's not there, that design of that car will be very different, because Adrian Newey is, I mean, they literally call him the master of reading air. Like, he could see air. The guy's an absolute just super genius. And then you have the Christian Horner thing and everything like that. As for Mercedes, where are they going for the next driver? Some people are saying Colapinto, taking him from Williams, since they are a Mercedes kind of run team, engine-wise. You know, if you want to stick a young kid in there, I don't mind, but the kid has to be good. I thought they were going to stick Kimi in there, him being the development driver. I guess he's not ready. So they're talking about Colapinto possibly. They can't take Liam Lawson because Liam will probably take over Red Bull, because Checo, I don't think, is staying with the team either. Neither is Carlos Sainz, because Lewis is coming in. Now, between Charles and Lewis, do I think that Lewis will take over that number 1 seat? I personally think so, because I think Ferrari's getting Lewis in order to get back to that championship status that Ferrari's known for being the number 1 winningest team in Formula One history and the first team ever. But yeah, I think it's going to be exciting. Vegas is always an exciting track. There are passing zones. You got the sphere. It's going to be at night. So I think it's going to be a very fun race. I think Lando will win. If not, there could be a surprise winner based on what happens. But if it's a clean race, I expect Lando or Oscar to win, unless in qualifying there is a real big jump from Red Bull or Ferrari or even Mercedes, but I don't foresee that. But like Ferrari or Red Bull for that spot at the top. All right, so also Cy Young got announced today. We got our 2 Cy Youngs. I don't think there was any doubt. One was a unanimous, and we knew it was going to be unanimous, that being Scoobs himself, Tarik Skubal for the Detroit Tigers. AL pitching triple crown. First Tiger to win it since Max Scherzer, the future first ballot Hall of Famer. That just says how good he is. 2.28 ERA, 228 strikeouts, just 18 wins. And then on the other side, the 35-year-old absolute future Hall of Famer, Chris Sale, both lefties. First time that happens since it's been a long time since 2 lefties has won the Cy Young. Let me see if I actually bookmarked it. I could have sworn I did. Yeah, both Cy Youngs by a left-hand pitcher in a year. 2024, Chris Sale, Tarik Skubal. 2022, the big unit, Randy Johnson, which I believe was his 4th Cy Young. And then Barry Zito. And then before that was Steve Carlton, another great pitcher. And then Sparky Lyle in 1977. Triple Crown winners. I mean, it's something rare. You don't see it. You see it more in the AL. Garrett Cole did it. Justin Verlander has done it. But in the NL, you don't see it as much. Chris Sale, 18 wins. Both of these guys, 18 wins, led the league. ERA, 2.38 for Sale, 2.39 for Skubal. Just absolutely filthy. 225 Ks for Chris Sale, most by a left-handed Braves pitcher in history. And Tarik Skubal, 228 strikeouts as a 28-year-old today when he receives the award. When he got awarded the award, he turned 28 today. Chris Sale, 35 years old, well-deserving. After being dominant with the White Sox and then dominant with the Red Sox and then going through these 4 years of injuries to come back this dominant in a Braves uniform. For Greg Maddux to be the one to announce him winning it was amazing. And then Pedro Martinez, one of the GOATs of pitching himself, announcing Scoob's win as well. 2 nasty changeups. When you talk about Pedro, Scoob's changeup is absolutely unhittable. Paired up with the 99, top of the zone, just disgusting, fastball. I'm going to get at you. I'm going to eat you up, pause. But that's what these guys do. 2 lefties that just dominate on the mound in 2 different ways. One's a 3/4 almost submarine pitcher. The other one is just straight over the top and just come after you. 2 menacing guys on the mound, and both extremely deserving. He's the first Tigers pitcher to win it since 2013. Max Scherzer, when he was young. Scherzer was young. 2013, Max Scherzer. We're talking about 10 years ago. That was Scherzer's beginning of his prime. He started with the Nationals, and then, he went with I think he started with the Nationals and then went to the Tigers, or vice versa. But it's amazing for them too. Unanimous was Tarik Skubal, 30 first place votes. Seth Lugo came in second. How it broke down in the NL was 26 first place votes for Chris Sale, 4 second place. Zach Wheeler got second. He got 4 first place votes, 25 second place. Skeens got third, which is incredible for a guy who didn't have the innings, but 177 strikeouts, a 1.96 ERA as a rookie. Just absolutely disgusting. Dylan Cease got third, and then another rookie, Shota Imanaga, got 5th, which is really nice for him. Another nasty pitcher. when you look at Scoobs, he was an absolute horse. 192 innings pitched, a WHIP of 0.92, a B-WAR of 6.3. Just a really, really special season from both of these guys, to be honest. And nobody better. I think nobody better this season for them to win the 2 Cy Youngs, for sure. All right, so let's get to the NCAA. Actually, a couple of things about basketball. So the Cleveland Cavaliers are no longer undefeated. They lose to Boston. Basically, so this is the thing about Boston. They made 14 threes in the first half, get a 21-point lead in the second half, and then what happens? Start bricking threes. You start bricking threes. Stop taking them. I mean, I love it when you guys lose and when you guys look bad, to be honest, because I hate the way you guys play. It's an extreme version of what Golden State was. Golden State, even in their heyday, still got 2s. KD got 2s. Steph got 2s. Clay got 2s. Sean Livingston got a most Spates. And we're talking back 2015 championship, like 2016 season. Like, they weren't just chucking threes. This wasn't the Houston Rockets. This wasn't the Suns. Like, they weren't just chucking threes. You guys are chucking threes, over 50 a game. And yeah, you hit over 20 and you're 5-0. But like, you have a 21-point lead in the second half. You're supposed to cut the head off of these dudes at your own house. And they bring it back to within 3 to almost win, to almost tie you up. They didn't tie. They were within 2. And then, Jaylen Brown hit something or Jason Tatum hit something. But like, that's not sustainable. It happened last year because it was a weak East. You faced a depleted Miami Heat, a depleted not New York Knicks, a depleted Bucks, and then the depleted Pacers, like a depleted Cleveland. So I don't think that's gonna work. I don't think you chucking 53s a game is going to work. Now, if you play the defense how you're supposed to play, okay. But relying on 53s a game to hit 20 of them, at some point, the math is not going to work. Because it's not efficient basketball. To be betting on that every single day. You did it last year. I don't think the East is going to be that weak this year, even though, well, unfortunately, is what we're seeing so far is kind of what we're seeing. Okay, so Chris Middleton has been cleared to play, but he's still getting ready after 2 ankle surgeries. If I'm being honest, Chris Middleton is the key for Milwaukee to turn shit around. And the reason I say that is because if he is healthy, there are 3 weapons that you have to account for that can put the ball on the floor and give you a bucket. You got Dame that can hit you from long range, Chris that can hit you from the mid, and then Giannis can hit you at the basket. Those 3 levels, Giannis is leading the league in scoring right now. Those 3 levels is tough to cover. Now, defensively, Chris is a little old. Damian's getting up there in age, and Giannis is a monster. And you have Brook Lopez. But that's your starting lineup. Your starting lineup is Damian Lillard, Damian Lillard, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brook Lopez, and maybe Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, whoever you want. Andre Jackson Jr., Ajax, as your perimeter point of attack defender. So, I think that once Chris comes back, we have to see what Milwaukee does. If it doesn't work with Chris back, you got to look for a trade or something. You got to look for a Zach LaVine. You got to look for maybe a defender in the trade deadline. You got to look for something. Because if this doesn't work, Giannis is out of the. Doc is out of there. This shit's going to get blown up. And I don't want that for Dame or Giannis. So, he's been cleared, but he just has to recover. Another thing I want to talk about, Dalton Knecht. Listen, I said when he got picked at number 17, I saw this kid at Tennessee. He is a straight bucket. This is not just a shooter. This is a bucket. Saw it yesterday, dropped 37 in the NBA Cup game. 9 threes, 9 for 12 from 3. Doing stuff that only Kobe did. And you let this guy fall to 17th to the Lakers. Jared McCain to the Sixers at 16th because of their age. Especially Dalton Knecht because he's 23. He's 23 and polished. Look at him at Tennessee. Hooper, bucket. You didn't think if you gave him to J.J. Redick, he was not going to figure him out? Come on, man. Now, the Lakers, excuse me, I might sneeze here. Whew. Came out of nowhere. Now, you think, and I got to laugh about that, bro, because him falling to 17th is the same thing as Pat Mahomes falling to 10. Is the same thing as letting Jalen Carter fall to 10. Bo Nix fall to 13th. Like, you don't let Justin Jefferson drop into 22nd. Lamar drop into 32nd. Like, that's what you're doing. This kid could be a legit star. 37, 9 and 12 from 3. And he could get to the bucket. And he could defend. He's like 6'8", 6'9". Wingspan. Hooper. Made a mistake, NBA. Should have taken him with the first 5 picks. I promise you we would have done better than what Reed Shepard's doing right now. Even though I think he'll figure it out. But Alex Sarr, Reed Shepard, Reese Shea, like this guy was a made man. Nah, he's too old. So we'll let him get to 17th. Bad decision. All right. Let's get to the NCAA. We have the biggest test for Ohio State. And on the other side, the biggest test for Indiana. In my opinion, this game is for Big Ten supremacy. Okay? Indiana being undefeated. Ohio State 1 loss to Oregon. This game right here is for a spot in the Big Ten championship versus Oregon. Okay? Now, if we go through what's we got this week, we got UNLV versus San Jose State. We got UNLV, a 7.5-point favorite. And then at 12, this game is at 12, not at 7:30, not at 30:30. Nah, Indiana, 10-0, Ohio State at the shoe, 9-1, 12 o'clock on Fox Saturday. This is, and OSU's a 13.5-point favorite. And if I'm being honest, I think it's going to be closer than that. I think this Indiana team's for real. We're going to see it that first quarter. That first quarter, the level of physicality from Ohio State's offensive line, and Ohio State just lost their center. Torn Achilles. That's going to affect them. The offensive line push from Ohio State to Indiana and the D-line push from Ohio State to Indiana's O-line is what we're going to see. I think Rourke, if he gets time, he's going to pick them apart. Sig is going to have these boys ready to play. OSU might be walking into a trap game. Indiana's number 5 in the country. Now, you might say, oh, strength of schedule or anything. This is Ohio State at the shoe a week before the Michigan game, which should be a cakewalk. Come with that shin strap strapped on. Real tight. Because I think this is going to be a battle. I don't think this is going to be a blowout. Wake Forest, Miami. Miami's still in the top 4 hunt. Right now, they're projected to be in the top 4. They got to beat Wake Forest. I think they do. They're 24-point favorites. DeAnthony Melton is going to go under season-ending ACL surgery. He sprained it. I guess that the tear was too much. Needs surgery. Ole Miss at the Swamp. Ole Miss needs to win to stay in the convo to get into the top 12. They're 10.5-point favorites. SMU, Virginia. Virginia has to win to stay in the convo. They're 9.5-point favorites. I think Ole Miss has more firepower than LSU. Their pace is crazy. The way that they run plays and the speed that they do. So I think Florida's going to have a little bit of trouble with Ole Miss. I think SMU takes care of Virginia. Illinois faces Rutgers. I think Illinois. They're only a point favorite. Holy shit. Georgia faces UMass. That should be a disgusting destruction. 42-point favorite is UGA. Tennessee versus UTEP. 41.5-point favorite. Texas, Kentucky. Texas has to win this game. They're a 20.5-point favorite. They better destroy Kentucky because they need to show that they're dominating their SEC opponents. Penn State, Minnesota. Penn State's a 12.5-point favorite at 9-1. BYU, Arizona State. Arizona State favored, -3 at Arizona State. BYU needs to win this game to stay in any type of hunt in the Big 12. In any type of hunt. Colorado, Kansas. Kansas coming off of 2 back-to-back upsets of ranked opponents with Jalen Daniels. Colorado is in Kansas. Colorado needs to win this game to maintain their top supremacy at the Big 12. They need to be that number 1 spot at the Big 12 to make it to the Big 12 championship and have a chance to make it to the playoffs. Clemson versus the Citadel. That's a no-brainer. Wofford versus South Carolina. That's a no-brainer. Missouri, Mississippi State. Mizzou, 7.5-point favorites. Army, Notre Dame, 9-0 versus 9-1. Army before the Navy game, which is next 2 weeks from now, I believe. Let me see. I think it's Veterans Day. Hold up. No, Veterans Day just passed. Yeah, it's the last game of the season, December 14th. So they got UTSA after this one. If Army wins this game, got to watch out for Notre Dame dropping. They're 6th. Got to watch out for Notre Dame dropping. And Army to possibly be at a large bid because they're undefeated. They're the last undefeated team in the 2 of the last undefeated teams in the country. 3 of the last undefeated teams in the country, Oregon, Indiana, and them. Boise State versus Wyoming, that should be a disgusting destruction. I expect Ashton Genty to be over 150 and 3 touchdowns. Alabama, Oklahoma. Alabama's a 13.5-point favorite. They should dominate OU. It's in Norman. But they should dominate OU, keep their name in the ballot to get into the SEC championship if anybody else slips. Texas A&M versus Auburn. Texas A&M has to win this. Has to win this. They're 2.5-point favorites. It's in Auburn. They have to win this to stay right there. And Iowa State, Utah. Iowa State has to win. They're not in it at all, but they have to win it if they want to have a chance, maybe if somebody slips, to get to the Big 12 championship. Okay? Ohio State. Don't slip. Don't slip. Against Indiana. If you slip, you're out. That's 2 losses. In the Big 10, it is going to be Oregon, Indiana, and you're going to be looking from the outside in unless you get in from the top 12. I'm telling you. Be careful. I believe in you guys, but be careful. The bracket as it stands right now. Let me see. Let me see if the bracket. The bracket. Where is the bracket? I love it how Pat McAfee shows. Excuse me. Pat McAfee shows the bracket, and then you go on the ESPN app. You can't find the bracket. So weird. Don't understand. All I'm looking for is the bracket. Let me see here. Preseason, week 13. So the rankings goes as follows right now. College football playoff rankings. Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Indiana, Notre Dame, Bama, Miami, Ole Miss, Georgia, Tennessee, Boise State, SMU, BYU, Texas A&M, Colorado, Clemson, South Carolina, Army, Tulane, Arizona State, Iowa State, Mizzou, UNLV, and Illinois. Okay? That's the rankings right now. And right now the top 4 would be Oregon, Texas. Oregon, Texas. The Big 12 would be Oregon, Texas, Big 10, Big 12. ACC would be Miami. Boise is the at-large right now in the Mountain West. And BYU is over Colorado right now in the Big 12. But if they slip, Colorado and Colorado wins, they're in it. They're going to be in the championship if they win out. So that's NCAA. And Travis Hunter should be the Heisman. I don't think Ashton Genty, unless he has like 300 plus yards this weekend, can get to Barry Sanders. Because Barry Sanders already was over 2,000 yards at this point. So I don't think he can get there. So I think Travis Hunter wins the Heisman. All right, let's predict this NFL slate this week. Let me open up my notepad for my predictions. My notepad here. Episode 154. Predictions. All right. Week 12. Okay. Starting off tomorrow, Steelers, Browns. Listen. 2 great defenses. Steelers are going to win this. It's in Cleveland. Steelers win this. You guys know this. You guys always beat you guys always beat Browns. But if you guys have a stinker, the questions are going to be out there. I think Jameis Winston is coming out throwing. He's going to throw to Jerry Jeudy. He's going to throw to Njoku. You guys better be solid up front because Nick Chubb ain't, I think he's coming with a vengeance because guess who injured him? Pittsburgh. So that was last year. So I'm picking you Steelers, but you better show up. If you come with that Mickey Mouse offense of just throwing deep balls, Desert Ward ain't going to have that. Greg Newsome ain't going to have that. You still got Myles Garrett coming off the edge, and that offensive line is suspect. I don't want to hear it from nobody. That shit is suspect. You got some holes on that line, and Myles will take account that there's some holes on that line. But I think that your defense can overcome that, and your offense does just enough. I don't think you're running the ball tomorrow. Don't even think about running the ball. I think you're better off trying to get Pratt Freiermuth the ball, Calvin Austin the ball, George Pickens maybe a couple deep passes, but you're not running the ball. And you better hope that Russell Wilson don't hold the ball back there. Myles is coming. So, but I'm picking you guys because you guys are the better team. You guys are 3.5-point favorites. Buccaneers, Giants, I'm going with the Bucs. Even with Tommy DeVito, yes, Daniel Jones got sat down. He's not even the backup. Drew Lock is. But even in New York, I think the Bucs have a better team. Defense and offense, even without Chris Godwin, even without Mike Evans, I think they have a better team. And they're actually fighting for something. They're fighting for the NFC South, especially because Atlanta's slipping. They're second in the NFC South. So they can still see they're going to come out and still play for the playoffs. You guys, the Giants, are done. You guys are a laughingstock. And I don't think Tommy Cutlets is going to do anything for you guys. Now, Kayvon Thibodeau, you're getting back. So now you're going to have Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Dexter Lawrence in the middle. That might do something for you. But I don't think it's going to do enough. I think that the Buccaneers are still the better team, better coached. So I'm going to go with the Bucs. Okay? On the road. Next. Chiefs-Panthers. Absolute massacre. Absolute massacres. In Carolina, we're going Chiefs. They're going to come back after the tough loss to Buffalo. Come back reinvigorated, refocused. Possibly was a good thing for them to lose. Get them recalibrated on the task at hand. D-Hop probably has a good game. Travis probably has a good game. Maybe Xavier Worthy keeps being bit. And Isaiah Pacheco might be coming back. And I say might more in the probable sense that he's going to be on the field. He practiced today. If he practices tomorrow and he practices Friday, he's definitely starting on Sunday. I don't know about a pitch count. I don't think Andy will have him on a pitch count if he practices all week with no issues. But, we shall see. But I'm going with the Chiefs. Cowboys, Commanders. I'm going Commanders at home. Listen, Jaden Daniels still wants to try to win the division. This Cowboys offense is atrocious. This Commanders defense, I think, can play with them. Yes, you have Michael Parsons coming off the edge and everything, but Commanders are going to run the shit out of the ball with Brian Robinson Jr. I think Jaden Daniels gets back on track this week, possibly healthy after the bye week. So I'm going to go Commanders. Patriots, Dolphins, I'm going with the Dolphins. They can still smell a playoff spot. We're getting better on offense. Jonnu Smith has become a big part of the offense. I don't think we're going to be able to run the ball, so we're going to have to pass the ball here. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. I need you guys to start showing up for Tua. If not, it's going to be the Davon Achane dump off and Jonnu Smith show. But I think we beat the Patriots. Titans, Texans. I got the Texans at home. Coming off the win against on Monday night. I think they reinvigorated. Watch a big game from Nico Collins. Big game from C.J. Stroud. And just keeping momentum and putting a cap on that NFC South. That AFC South, excuse me. Lions, Colts, Lions. It's in Indy, but I got the Lions. This team is absolutely unstoppable right now. The running game is absolutely unstoppable. I think that the Colts have something for them running game-wise, but I think this defense is playing great. For the Lions, and you got too many weapons for the Lions. You got Amon-Ra, J-Mo, Jameer, which is the fifth leading rusher in the league right now. You still got Laporta. You got Brock Wright. Tim Patrick. You just too much weaponry. Craig Reynolds, too much weaponry. Khalif Raymond, not Craig Reynolds. Khalif Raymond. Just too many weapons. David Montgomery and this offensive line just absolutely destroys people. You got Zadarius Smith. He might be hurt, though. But I think the Lions' defense can do enough. AR might show some flashes. But I think the Lions got this. Vikings, Bears, I'm going with the Vikings. They know that they have to keep up in the NFC North. They have to keep up with the Lions. I'm going to go with Vikings. They're at Chicago, but I'm going to go with the Vikings. I think that this Flores defense starting to get back into their groove, and I think this offense is also starting to get back into their groove. I can see JJ having a good day. Justin Jefferson. I'm going to go Vikings. Broncos, Raiders, I'm going Broncos. There's nothing that you can tell me about this defense that is not just going to destroy this Raiders defense, this Raiders offense. I don't see any possibility of this Raiders offense even having success moving the ball against this team. Got PS2, you got Riley Moss out there, Nick Benito's playing his ass off. You got Allen in the middle. Yeah, I think the Raiders are just cooked. And Bo Nix is going to play a great game, possibly another 300-plus, three-touchdown game from Bo Nix. 49ers, Packers, big game in the NFC. Big game in the NFC. It's in Lambeau. Okay? Green Bay are 2-point favorites. However, I think that the 49ers are coming with too much urgency. George Kittle will be back. That means the whole offense is back except Brandon Ayuk. Jawan Jennings is going to be a big part of it. CMC, there's still no answer for him. I don't know why they're not using Debo. We'll see if they use him now. I got the 49ers in an upset technically against the Packers. I think that the less risk-averse quarterback is going to win. And the more accurate quarterback is going to win. That is Brock Purdy. The better play caller, I think, will win. I think that's Kyle Shanahan. This defense cannot give up points, though. Nick Bosa being hurt is gonna be tough, but I think the defense as a whole is still better than that Packers defense. I'm going to go with the Niners. I don't feel completely sold on it, but there's no way that Kyle Shanahan is going to let this team go into the dumps without a fight, especially with C-Mac back there. I expect them to come out with a vengeance this week. Cardinals, Seahawks, big battle in the NFC West. It's in Seattle. Cardinals coming off a bye. One of the best running teams in the league. Against the Seahawks, another good running team. With Geno coming off that great win in San Fran. I'm going to go with the Cardinals. They're a 1-point favorite. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. But I'm going to go Cardinals coming off the bye, all healthy, ready to make that playoff push, especially leading the NFC West. If they lose, this shit becomes a shit show. Because everybody's going to be, Seahawks will be 6-5, Cardinals will be 6-5, 49ers win, they're 6-5, and then you got the Rams versus the Eagles, which I'm taking the Eagles. Although I like the Rams, I love Kyron Williams, I love Puka Nacua, and I love Cooper Kupp, and I love Stafford. They are facing a team, especially defensively, that they cannot deal with. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, you have CJ GJ, Reed Blankenship, plus Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Brandon Graham, Nolan Smith Jr. on the defensive side. Not to mention on the offensive side, you still got to deal with A.J. Brown. You got to deal with Devontae Smith, and you got to deal with Saquon. Okay? So I'm taking the Eagles on the road to go to 9-2 and be right on the heels of the Lions for that number 1 seed. Okay? So I'm going to go Eagles against the Rams. The Rams can possibly win this game if the Eagles come flat, but I don't think they're gonna. I don't think Saquon's gonna. So I'm going to go Eagles. That was the Sunday night game. The Monday night game, Ravens-Chargers, another big game for AFC supremacy, especially if the Steelers win. If the Ravens lose this game, they are possibly looking at, I don't know about being out of the wild card, but being close, because then you have Broncos that are going to win this week. You have the Chiefs, that are still going to be up there. You're talking about receding. It's going to be tough. So I got the Ravens on Monday night at SoFi. You got Herbert. You got 7-4 Ravens, 7-3 Chargers. It's going to be a defensive battle. Two of the best defenses in the league. Actually, no. Ravens are not that good of a defense, but the Chargers are. But they have the players on the defense. Derrick Henry, Lamar, Zay Flowers, hopefully Deontay Johnson, they get them involved. Rashad Bateman versus Herbert, McConkey, Quentin Johnston, J.K. Dobbins, and that offensive line with Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater. I got the Ravens, though. I think they're going to come back with a vengeance. They usually don't fold against people that are not the Chiefs or the Steelers. So I got the Ravens. Those are my picks for this week. As for MVP, it's down to 3 people. This can change. But after this past week, Josh Allen takes over as the leader in my MVP boat. I said it after the game. I said it to myself after the game. They're going to talk about him like the MVP because Lamar did not show up against the Steelers. Had a bad showing. Okay? So it is between Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Jared Goff. That is your MVP ladder. As for AP Offensive Player of the Year, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Jamar Chase. That's what you're looking at. Okay? That's what we're looking at. Defensive Player of the Year, TJ Watt, Trey Hendrickson. And if you're going off of interceptions, you got to throw in Kirby Joseph in there. He has 7 interceptions. That's what I'm thinking right now, defensively. You could throw PS2 on there, Patrick Surtain. I don't mind. So that's for the NFL this week. NBA. We talked about it a little bit at the beginning, but let's talk about little standings, everything like that, okay? Today we have Pelicans Cavaliers, which the Cavaliers are winning by 53-45 right now in the second. Bucks Bulls 53-41. Bucks are winning in the second. Then you have Pacers Rockets in the first, 12-9. Rockets are winning. 76ers are losing against the Grizzlies 12-11 in the first. Trailblazers Thunder are losing 13-11 in the first. You have Knicks Suns at 10. Hawks Warriors at 10. And Magic Clippers at 10. Okay? If we go to the standings, something very interesting. The Magic have figured it out without Paolo so far. Okay? Cleveland's 15-1. Boston's 12-3. You got Orlando at 9-6. The Knicks have kind of figured it out. Just need Jalen Brunson to get back to that superstar level of last year, although Cat does take away some touches. They're at 8-6. Atlanta's at 7-8, which is interesting that they're 5th seed, especially with a lot of young people. I mean, you're talking about Zachary Ricochet, Jalen Johnson, just a lot of below 5 years of experience players. Miami 6-7. We got Jimmy back. He scored 30 yesterday. Hopefully he keeps that up. Detroit is 7-9. Cade is figuring it out. Jaden's figuring it out. Now that Jalen Duren is back and Asar Thompson is soon to be back, they should be a force. I don't know about those top super playing teams, but maybe 9-10 at the end of the year. Indiana 6-8. I expect them to be better. Mathurin and Halliburton, Miles Turner. Brooklyn 6-9. They'll eventually start tanking for probably Cooper Flagg. Chicago's at 6-9. Once they decide what they want to do, move Zach LaVine, Vooch. I expect them to go flag chasing as well. You have Charlotte with the Young Guns at 11. Milwaukee at 5-9. If they win tonight, they're back in the hunt in the play-in. Toronto's at 3-12. They're basically out of it. Cooper flag chasing. Washington's 2-11, and Philly's 2-11, trying to rekindle something with that team meeting. Golden State is number 1 in the West, 10-3. OKC lost yesterday. They've lost 2 in a row, actually. They lost to Portland and Shaedon Sharpe. Golden State's number 1, 10-3. OKC's 11-4. Lakers are 10-4, as I said, with Dalton Connect, Anthony Davis playing the way he is, and LeBron playing the way he is. D'Lo coming off the bench, Austin Reeves still giving you what he gives you. I think that they're gonna stick around that 1-6 range all year, if AD stays healthy. Houston's at 10-5, finally figuring it out with Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr. You still got Van Fleet. Brooks is playing well. Alman Thompson's playing well. Tari Eason's playing well. So they're playing pretty well. Of course, Ime got that defense locked down, and Alfred Sengun. Can't forget about AP. You got Denver at 8-5. Jokic is playing the best season of his career, which is crazy to say for a 3-time MVP and a Finals MVP. MPJ starting to figure it out. So is Jamal Murray. He's starting to score again. Julian Strother's taking a little bit of a leap. Christian Braun is taking a little bit of a leap. And Peyton Watson's taking a little bit of a leap. That's what I like to see. You got Phoenix. KD's not playing right now, but you still got Devin Booker and no Bradley Beal, but you're still 6. Devin Booker should take over in the meantime until those guys get back healthy, but they're playing pretty well. 8-6 Minnesota, starting to figure it out with Julius Randle. Ant started to really get into a rhythm. So is Dante DiVincenzo. And their defense is starting to get to that level again that they had last year. You had the Clippers at 8-7, scrappy team with James Harden playing great. So is Norman Powell scoring a lot from 3 and being a scorer. But I think at some point that drop-off is going to come if Kawhi doesn't play. Memphis without Ja is at 9, 8-7. I expect a bump up with once Ja comes back. They have Jaren Jackson right now, Desmond Bane playing well, Jalen Wells, Scottie Pippen Jr. But I expect a jump to come back. Santi Aldama, but I expect a jump when Ja comes back. Sacramento's at 8-7 with D Fox, with DeMar, Herder, Sabonis. I expect them to be in that range the whole year. I don't think that they'll jump up to the high 1 through 6 range. Surprising is Dallas right now. They're all healthy. They just have to figure it out. Luka has to get back to that MVP level. He's not scoring 30 a game yet, averaging 30 a game yet. Kyrie's playing great. So is Klay Thompson, Blake Lively, and Derek Lively, and Gafford's playing great. Jaden Hardy's making a little bit of a leap. So they just have to figure it out. And then the team that I feel will be in the mix for a play-in is San Antonio. They're at 7-8 right now, 12th in the West, just 4 games out of number one spot. So they're everybody's in it right now. So is Portland. They're 6-8, 4.5 out. New Orleans not so much. They're 7.5, and then Utah is basically chasing Clifford Flag. I want to see some more of Isaiah Collier from Utah. See if Keontae can take a leap. Laurie has to get back to that last year's Laurie. I like their team, but they're just not winning right now. Portland, I believe, is going to start leaning on Shaedon Sharpe more as their star, as Anthony Simons is out. And San Antonio, Vic, Vassell, Paul, Keldon Johnson, Collins, Champagny, Branham. They have a deep team, young team, but a deep team, and I expect them to be competitive all year. Right now, the stats stand. Giannis is at 31.4 points a game. AD's at 30.7. Jason Tatum's at 29.9. Jokic at 29.7. And De'Aaron Fox at 28.8. Assist leaders, Jokic is at 11.7. Trae Young's at 11.6. LeBron James averaging 9.4. James Harden averaging 9. And Cade Cunningham averaging 8.8, which is really good for Cade that he bumped his assist numbers. 3-pointers made a game. Anthony Edwards at 4.8. LaMelo Ball's at 4.5. Tyler Hero's at 4.4. Jason Tatum's at 4.3. And Steph is at 4.1. Jokic is at 13.7 rebounds, leading the league. Sabonis is 12.5. Zubac is 12.4. Giannis is at 12.4. And Karl Anthony Towns are at 12.4, all tied at 3. Blocks, Victor is 3.7. Brook Lopez at 2.4. Klingon, the rookie out of UConn for Portland, he's at 2.1. Alex Sarr, the rookie from France, he's at 2.1. And AD's at 1.8. And then Dyson Daniels is averaging 3.4 steals a game. J-Dub is 2.2. Tari Eason's at 1.9. Jordan Poole's at 1.9. And Tomani Kamara is at 1.9. That's what it's looking like right now as it stands. In team-wise, Cleveland's leading the league at 1.3 points per game. Boston's at 121.5. Golden State's at 119.6. Memphis at 119.1. And the Lakers at 117.3. Field goal percentage for teams, 52.2 by the Cleveland. New York is at 50%. Sacramento's at 48.9%. Indiana Pacers 48.6%. And the Lakers at 48.3%. Where's Boston, you ask? Boston is at 46.3%. Okay? That's where Boston's at. And then the rest of the team stats is as follows. You got points differential plus 11.3 by the Cavs, plus 10.6 by Oklahoma City, plus 9.7 by Boston, plus 9.5 by Golden State, and plus 7.8 by Houston Rockets. Defensive leaders, Orlando Magic, 1.2 points allowed per game. Then you go Oklahoma City at 1.3.9. Rockets at 105.7. Clippers at 109.1. And Dallas Mavericks at 109.1. Rebounding leaders, 50.9 rebounds, Houston Rockets. Golden State at 48.7. Memphis at 48.1. Detroit at 47.5. Denver Nuggets 46.2. Blocks per game for a team. Memphis 7.5 a game. Oklahoma City 6.9 a game. San Antonio 6.5 a game. Orlando 6.4. And Portland 6.3. Those are your team stats right now as they stand. And that is episode 154 of the Exec Talk Podcast. I am your host, El Velez. I love you. Like, subscribe, hit the comments, hit the notification bell. Follow me on all my socials. God bless you guys. And thank you for all the support. I leave you all with the outro.